Welcome to SUPLEXMANIA here live at the original Hooters across the street from Madison Square Garden. Jeremey Donovan here from Social Suplex and Keeping It Strong Style. I am joined with, as usual, the young boy Josh Smith. But that is not all. We also have the guys from Grown Men Watch This Shit, Bryan and Jeremey Tate. And of course, this wouldn't be Social Suplex without the flagship of our network, One Nation Radio, Rich Latta and James Boyd. And like I said, we are at the Hooters across from Madison Square Garden, and we're getting ready to recap. Get t-shirts. You can see Rich wearing One Nation Radio. Josh and I are wearing our Keeping It Strong Style shirts. You can get those at ProWrestlingTees.com/Social Suplex. So let's get the thing kicked off, guys. So we've seen a lot of wrestling this weekend, a lot of shows, and we saw a lot of great independent wrestling. And of course, we have our indie experts here. Grown Men Watch This Shit. So I'm gonna start off with those guys, man. So, guys, man, what was the best indie show you guys were at this weekend?
Yo, man, that's so hard. I mean, I appreciate that this is us. You know, this is kind of our wheelhouse. This is what we do. This is what we do. But man, like the whole experience, like we've seen so many shows. We've seen like, what, 9 shows?
Grand total, I believe, 9 shows, yeah.
9 shows. There's a lot.
And eclectic stuff, mix of technical wrestling, comedy. Hell, I even took my girlfriend to her first death match, and I think our relationship is stronger than ever.
So, I mean, in terms of the best, like that's hard.
I have my own opinion. I'm going to go, my personal favorite was the Rev Pro show. Good mixture of Japanese talent, fun American talent, and popular indie guys. All around a great event. Chris?
A lot of good variety. So, for me, it's about the fun when it comes to the indie shows, right? And I mean, it doesn't get much more fun than Joey Janela.
Oh man, outrageous.
Like that was some crazy shit, and like the whole collective's presentation was quite incredible. I mean, we started with Bloodsport, and to me, that was the ultimate. I mean, I can talk with Josh over here. That's our wheelhouse, right? Like shoot-style wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think that's what we bonded over the first time we met last year was, you know, just our love for shoot-style, UWFI, rings, you know, all of it. So, yeah, that show was incredible, though, this weekend. Josh Barnett's Bloodsport.
Do y'all run into each other at Bloodsport this year?
No, we plan to go together.
Oh.
Yeah. So the show was great though. Like I was just like blown away. Like last year's show was really good, but this one was, I think it topped it in almost every way.
Last year's show was fresh. Last year's show was excellent because it was such a change of pace from all the rest of those shows. You know, I think I've seen like 1,001 suicide dives on the evening of the rest of the shows, but Bloodsport was just so fresh. And then this year, it just topped it. It brought it to the next level in terms of like just every match was better than the prior match, and we saw so much crazy shit. I mean, Takeda, a deathmatch guy, just bringing it in one of the best matches I saw this whole weekend against Jonathan Gresham. And what, that was like an 8-minute match, 7-minute match?
It went like 7 or 8 minutes, and it really, that match blew me away. Like I didn't know what to expect from that, and I think there's an argument you could make that was match of the night, and maybe even one of the top matches the whole entire weekend.
Oh yeah, see guys, we're getting our hot wings here. Great service from Sydney. And who do we have here? We got a nice picture of beer. Yes, the original Hooters right here across from Madison Square Garden. We're getting, you know, the best service, guys. This is, you know, great stuff.
This is next level. I've never recorded a podcast where I've been brought a picture of beer and hot wings. This is delightful.
Yeah, man, this is awesome.
But that main event on the Bloodsport show, I really wanted to put it over. That was some special shit. Minoru Suzuki and Josh Barnett. It was like just a dream match of dream matches. It's like Kyle Gotch versus Billy Robinson, and that's my shit. That's my shit. It was amazing. They went to a draw, and then they did the overtime, and everyone was so intense, so up for it.
So were you upset about the draw?
I, if anything, I thought they should have kept it just at the draw because it finished so hot on the actual draw itself, and everyone just gave it a standing ovation. Whereas when they went into the overtime, it almost like when the overtime finished, it got boos. So I think they probably should have finished it at the actual draw itself. But I mean, I'm not going to complain about that match because like Josh Barnett, Minoru Suzuki. Damn.
I was very jealous. I waited to get those tickets and kicked to myself the whole weekend. But again, back to Rev Pro, I really want to put over the Young Lions who were in the opening match with CCK.
Yeah, so the Young Lions from the dojo, the LA dojo.
Yeah, Clark Connors, he's a local guy and he used to work for Defy and made his move down to the LA dojo, and him and Carl Fredericks are doing great. Some amazing next level selling by Clark Connors on his knee, and just honestly the whole match, the Young Lions, they strip them everything. They go out there black trunks and, just do their thing. And I think these guys really got over well. And a fantastic match. And then I really loved David Starr and Ishii because David Starr is my dude and Ishii is my favorite Japanese wrestler. So when I saw this shit, it's the perfect cocky heel versus the toughest motherfucker in the business. So it was beautiful. I really love that.
And show. Josh, you were at Rev Pro. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, the Rev Pro show was excellent top to bottom. Every year that show just seems to deliver in a way that a lot of the other similar shows maybe don't. Yeah, exactly what they touched upon. The Young Lions match was excellent. I was really impressed that they went with a non-traditional match structure. And it wasn't just Young Lions kind of getting jobbed out, but they were truly they had a great match. But for me, the match of the night had to be Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr. against Tanahashi and Ospreay. And actually, Will's here.
Yeah, we have Will Ospreay here.
He's here with the party.
At the SUPLEXMANIA.
So that's kind of funny. But yeah, that match was. But that match was just incredible. I mean, obviously, you guys probably loved it too.
I mean, it was positioned in the main event of the first half of the show, right? So it really should have been the main event. I don't know if they had shit to get to afterwards.
I believe that was the case. I think there was something that I heard something come up where Ospreay and Tanahashi they needed to get out of there. Apparently.
Yeah, but I mean, it was fantastic where it was. It was definitely the best match of the night, I think. But yeah, props to the Young Lions because they've gotten so much better. I watched them on the Texas tour that ROH did earlier in the year, and they've gotten so much better since then. So I have high hopes for these American Young Lions.
Truly, fighting spirit, true fighting spirit during the match.
That's awesome. And speaking of Ospreay, he was in the main event of the WrestleCon Super Show. So I want to jump on that real quick. One Nation Radio guys, we were all there at WrestleCon Super Show. So what did you guys think about the main event, Ospreay and Bandito?
I think Ospreay and Bandito it was just athletic excellence. I marveled at how fast-paced it started. They came off the block pretty much. You remember the Will Ospreay and Marty Scurll match from the LA show where he blitzed him, and it was the first 30 seconds Ospreay and Bandito was on. What did you think of that match, James?
Yeah, I thought it was an excellent contest. It was an interesting match because, there's a lot of different stuff. There's Liger there with X-Pac and Shane Helms and Hurricane, and there's other stuff on the card. But then, you get to that main event, and, I kind of got closer than I was before, just standing and watching. It's interesting to see, Ospreay, and it's one thing when you hear the thuds, and it's one thing when you hear the slaps and chops and whatever else, and clubbing each other. But it's another thing to actually, be there up, within, the first, 20 feet of it, and you can hear how it sounds off. It's almost talk about hearing about, scouts who used to talk about, baseball, about, they only hear, I never heard people, the bounce off of the bat, the baseball bounce off the bat, there was Josh Gibson, Babe Ruth, and Bo Jackson. Only people ever hit that hard. And, to hear Ospreay and Bandito hit each other was these dudes are killing each other to get this match over, and they did a great job. And I loved when the finishing sequence of the match.
It started off so hot, and Spanish fly off the bat. It was great stuff. just an epic, main event, a great way to kind of kick off the weekend. Also on that show, we had Dragon Lee versus Barbario Cavernario.
That was like insane.
And Young Boy, that's your guy, Barbario. Tell the people about how great Barbario was that night, man.
Yeah, so Cabernario's my favorite luchador. Cavernario is, like I was saying, he's my favorite luchador, and so it was just so exciting to be able to see him. He showed up for one match, just that one night. Most of the crowd didn't know him, but I think by the time he was done, he left like a serious impression in the minds of the people that were watching. I think a lot of people weren't necessarily as familiar with some of the things he was doing, even when he did the big dive to the outside. I did kind of feel like people didn't know how to react to that sort of thing. But that match was great. Him and Dragon Lee, they just went in there, they tore it down.
He did something I had never seen before, where he ran across the apron and dove out the middle of the other side of the ring.
Yeah.
Off the apron. Like, it was so innovative.
Yeah, and I just don't know how long Barbario Cavernario's knees are going to last with the way he does that diving splash to the outside every match.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the guy doesn't care about his knees.
Yeah.
But, that entire WrestleCon Super Show card was just excellent. I don't know if you guys can hear in our voices. Like, I'm even right now just, like, still feeling it. I'm like, wow, like, show after show after show, and like you got to imagine these wrestlers who are doing the same thing, they're not just viewing and watching this stuff, but like actually working. Like, God,
yeah, we had a lot of surprises on the WrestleCon show. We had X-Pac, Tajiri, Hurricane Helms.
Lost my mind when X-Pac came out.
Yes, dude, big pop for 1, 2, 3 kid. It's great stuff. So
Hurricane Helms was out there saying, "Y'all know who I work for." And you already know what it is, what I had to, I had to beg to be here for Liger. And Liger was just one of the most over guys every place he went.
Yeah, it's great. I got interviewed by Liger at the New Japan Matsuri that we went to on Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's kick it back over to the grown men guys back in this. Is there any other indie stuff you guys want to hit on? You guys went to MLW, right?
Yeah, MLW was real fun, like a family-friendly environment. Like, they made sure to come out and let us know, no swearing, no middle fingers, which I can respect. They're trying to be a TV product, and they're doing good. What do you think of the show all the way around, Chris? Oh, you're eating chicken. I apologize.
I want to make sure I talk while I'm eating buffalo wings. This is the professionalism that we bring to this show.
Oh, indeed. Skills.
Yeah. So the MLW show, I mean, this may be a little bit of a controversial thing, because I love MLW. I love Colt Bella, love the whole network, everything. It was a bit of a disappointment, I guess, like in overall compared to what I was expecting.
Yeah, there's a few matches on the card you would expect to maybe get a little bit more violent that were kind of a little bit clean and stagnant as far as that is concerned. I wanted more action with La Parka.
Yeah, I built that motherfucker up.
So,
I built that up.
Were you guys at the TV taping or the Battle Riot?
It was at the TV taping.
Okay. Who did the LA Park face at the tapings?
Yo, yeah, Pentagon Jr., LA Pop. I've seen those guys like just murder one another in these wild brawls. It was pretty wild, but it was not as wild as I was expecting. I don't know.
And then Jimmy Havoc's match, they kind of had to end it early because he had an actual previous injury that he got reopened, so that kind of was a little bit of a damper on the evening as well. And Jimmy's also in attendance. Hi, Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy Jacobs here, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny as well because we came straight there from Bloodsport, right? And I want to make sure I touch on this, like just this experience that we all, did these last couple of days. Like you go from New Jersey City for Bloodsport, and then you get on a subway. Do we go to a subway?
One subway and then another subway.
Right. So we change. Once you go through the New Jersey one, and you get to the one we got here, and then you get to Queens, and then I ran. I had to run from this subway to get to MLW. I didn't want to miss out on shit. I was stressing. And then we get there, and then we're at MLW, and then you get that tiredness. The tiredness is gonna set in during these like manic things. Again, like there was some fun stuff, some disappointing stuff, but overall fun overall. And then we had to go back to Jersey City after that for AIW, right?
Yeah, and then as soon as we walk into AIW, it's the Hornswoggle and Scott Steiner spectacle. Walked in as Hornswoggle got a belly-to-belly, and then he popped up and threw double middle fingers right into Steiner's face. Honestly, I was so impressed by Hornswoggle this weekend.
So great, so great.
Hornswoggle was awesome in the clusterfuck as well. He took the tattoo needles from G-Raver into his forehead.
Oh, shit.
And he just stood there, flipped the guy off, pulled him out. One of them stuck still, so we had to go back in there, grab it again, and then stab it. Dude, Hornswoggle is a tough little bastard. That was amazing.
It was great with Steiner as well, because this was like the closest to that early 90s Steiner. That just,
Fuck you, fat boy.
jerk motherfuckers around. Like, he still had the speed. I mean, when you're throwing around a little person, I guess it's a little bit easier, but still, it was impressive as shit. I loved it.
Yeah, he did a really awesome clothesline. Hornswoggle was so close to the ground, he just like snaps and hits the mat immediately. It's fucking great.
So good.
MLW, I want to go back there real quick.
Yeah.
They put over Contra huge. Those guys.
Yeah, the Contra group, Jacob Fatu, who else is in that group?
Samael.
That
Samael.
guy's a superstar.
So
Yeah.
huge group, awesome. They played their theme song for like literally 7 minutes straight at one point. I was like, I'm done with this. But yeah, they're tremendous. They actually just won the Defied Tag titles down at Wrestle Summit too. So I'm looking forward to seeing them come up to Seattle.
That's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
I wanted to make special mention of this AIW show because this was the one we got there a little bit late. I mentioned it previously on the show. We were promised first hour this show starts because it got moved earlier to 11 p.m. and the show in MLW didn't finish till 11 p.m. We were promised nothing in terms of like big time internationals would happen in that first hour. I got lied to. I missed out on Otani versus Eddie Kingston. That was a dream match for me.
Who met Otani?
Hey,
Who met Otani this weekend?
Otani? You met Otani.
Yes, that's her. That was me.
That's awesome, man.
But yeah, dude, fucking A. The weekend was great. I am definitely exhausted. Probably
bro,
planning
so-
not to come
so
next
tired.
year, but I probably will end up next year. Because
Well,
that's
guys.
Mance Warner. Mance Warner was my
Yeah,
favorite
daddy.
Yeah.
Mance Warner,
Mance
baby.
Warner, baby. Get knee
Green,
pad up,
paper
knee
green.
pad down.
White envelopes, daddy.
All right, guys. I want to throw it back over to let's get the One Nation Radio guys back on here. So all three of us guys, we saw some women's wrestling on Friday. We were at Shimmer, and also we were at Stardom. So let's start off with Shimmer, the first show we were at. What'd you guys think about this year's Shimmer show?
Shimmer was incredible, literally from the start. Hiroyo Matsumoto and Nicole Savoy put on a thrilling championship opener, which is like something you don't really see. I don't know why they did it. Maybe they had to get to another show or something like that. It looks like Sarah Logan just won. Actually, no.
Carmella
Here comes Carmella, and that's a great way for a baby. Never mind. Back to women's wrestling that actually matters. Britt Baker and Tessa Blanchard.
Yes.
4-star match.
Yes, dude, that match was incredible. Dude, Tessa Blanchard, she's a star. Dude, there was a scary spot towards the end of that match where they did the Tessa does the senton onto Britt Baker, and man, we thought she was, out.
We thought her chest was like folded in like origami.
Yeah, and we actually ran to Britt Baker later that night at a takeover, and she said that they almost had to call the match because of that spot.
Yeah, I don't know if she was working us, but I'll take her at her word at it. Who else was on the like you talk about Chris Wolf a lot?
Chris Wolf was in the 8-woman elimination match. Chris Wolf was in the 8-woman elimination match. I mean, it was pretty much she was the spotlight of the match. Most of it revolved around her and her comedy. And it was cool also, and it was cool, nice run around where a cool match where it was showcased around her and her comedic sensibilities and the fact that she was, it's not a DQ because you ain't got no crown jewels down there apparently, so she'll go ahead and make use of that.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of work around. I guess they stole her wolf head, so she was trying to get that back as well. So that was awesome to see how much the crowd enjoyed her and appreciation of her wrapping things up. Coming soon, it was cool to see that.
I didn't see a lot of WWN shows. I didn't have a chance to get to a lot of them. That was the only one actually. And I thought it was a great representation of WWN and showing that they have women's wrestlers they can bring in from everywhere that can really work and go and put on entertaining matches for the fans.
Yeah.
Also, make note of the main event, Dust versus Samantha. I can't remember her last name.
Samantha Heights, I think.
Samantha Heights.
Samantha Heights, yes. That was a very good match. Honestly, we watched a bunch of Stardom, we watched a bunch of Shimmer, and I'm sorry. We watched a bunch of Shine, a bunch of Shimmer. I think this is the best Shimmer Shine show I've ever been to. There was also a fatal four-way tag match involved that had Chauncey Blackheart in it, and she was great in it.
Chauncey Blackheart was a superstar in that match.
Yeah, and also we got to talk about Leva Bates coming out dressed up as Britney Spears.
Yes.
Yeah.
She came in dressed up as Britney Spears from Oops, I Did It Again, I believe, and she did the whole dance routine with it. It was hilarious. At one point the ring announcer says, and from the 90s apparently, it's Leva Bates, and then she grabs her house mic and goes, "It's Britney, bitch."
Yeah.
So I mean,
there was a really good tag match too with Mercedes Martinez.
Yes, Mercedes Martinez and cheerleader Melissa defending the belt against Twisted Sisters. I've been very critical about Twisted Sisters anytime I see them. I'm not, hadn't been a big fan of their work. But this is the best Twisted Sisters I've seen.
Everyone came to wrestle.
Yeah, and it seemed like Twisted Sisters were the heels at the beginning, and Mercedes and cheerleader Melissa were the baby faces. But they kind of did a double turn in the middle of the match there, and Twisted Sisters were getting cheered and became the baby faces, and Mercedes and cheerleader Melissa were doing a lot of cheating and heel work, trying to get over.
So, question for James from Zach Porter. Said, James, what were your thoughts on the Utami Momo match?
I love that match. I thought that match was somewhere around 4.25, 4.5. Very good match. They have more in them. It's traditionally like the knockdown drag out match that people talk about in Stardom are the matches that are in Korakuen Hall normally and always end up somewhere outside the ring where someone does some gigantic dive. But this was more or less self-contained in the ring. It was also interesting to see a Stardom match that didn't involve. They actually had barricades up as opposed to like the young girls working in and basically boxing out like people from getting ran into. So that was fun. But yeah, back and forth. Momo in the match. Basic story of the match is like Utami, like she's a great rookie, but she's not on Momo's level yet.
Right.
But it's coming, and eventually when they do the draft amongst the factions, and I think there's gonna be a split there because like she's probably like the best. Utami's probably like the best second in command right now amongst the factions.
That was my first Stardom experience, and I was just so impressed from the straightforward presentation, which is something that I think all companies can take a page out of. Like, here are the wrestlers, here's their name of their group. You get to see their interests. You can kind of figure out who they are. I'm already a mark for Odeyo Tai and all the music and the dancing because I love nothing more than dancing, even though I can't dance myself. But yeah, it was an incredible show.
Yeah, so yeah, that was my first Shimmer experience.
Even without a bottom rope.
Yes, my first Shimmer experience. That was a great show.
Stardom.
Stardom. First Stardom experience. That was a great show. All those girls killed it. The high-speed match with Dustin. Who was the...
Dustin Hazuki.
Hazuki.
Hazuki, she is the second in command of Odeyo Tai, behind Kagetsu. And she's also one of the women that main event in shows, depending on whatever whatever show card it is. But she is looked upon as like she's next on deck. I think she's like 22 years old. Yeah. So like the thing with Stardom is like the Mayus and the Kagetsus and even the Jungles, like you're like 25 or older, but like the next breed like the Momos and Tam Nakanos, whatever else there are, Tam Nakano, they're all like in their lower 20s or maybe even as young as 18. So like they've done a good job developing top talent, and they put them in positions to like showcase like their abilities at top of cards at times. And it's similar thing where like people are coming up and testing like the top of factions, and it makes for a fun show. Like this was, I kind of felt like I almost undersold it to you guys, but like honestly, that show was so far and beyond what I imagined it could do once I saw that card lineup, because every woman like was better than what I've seen before. Like
I like Hana, Jamie Hayter. I was just gonna bring her up.
Bobby Tyler.
Hayter, like I never saw her do that to be that good and
fast and explosive.
Yes.
And Bia's always good, especially in tags. But like she was solid as she normally is. But I
Highly recommended show.
I told you, like, I saw this card, I was like, it's not gonna be exactly what I thought it would be. It's trying to be the best starting card I've ever seen.
That's,
So
all right.
2 thumbs up for that show.
All right. So
So we dressing as the O'Dale tie for Halloween?
yeah. I want to make sure we get some.
Come on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
do you like the cyberpunk? You like the cyberpunk?
I'm with it.
Okay.
I'm with it all.
Okay.
All the smoke.
So we got.
Y'all can see Madison Square Garden back there. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to get out the way a
So-
little bit, but that
so-
is the garden right there.
We got an hour left of recording time here. I want to make sure we get some time to talk about NXT TakeOver as well as the G1 Supercard. So let's start with NXT TakeOver New York. This was an amazing TakeOver. So many great matches. Young boy, so you were there. We're all there. TakeOver, man. What were your thoughts on TakeOver?
Yeah, my thoughts on TakeOver. I thought that it was an incredible show. It was the first TakeOver that I've ever gotten a chance to attend live. Our seats were all the way up in the nosebleeds.
At the 10 up.
Like, yeah, the very, very, very top, and they were still excellent seats. The show was just incredible. I mean, the highest, like every single match was over 4 stars. Everything was paced out so perfectly. It went very, very quickly. Like, yeah, I mean, it's TakeOver in New York on Mania weekend. It always delivers.
Yeah, Jeremy and Chris, were you guys at TakeOver?
I didn't go, but I managed to. After one of the shows, I stayed up late like a fucking maniac and watched more wrestling after attending a wrestling show. And I at least watched the 2 big title matches. I watched Gargano and Cole, and I watched Walter and Pete. Really loved Walter and Pete. Gargano and Cole was awesome. I just think I don't need that many false finishes in a match, but it was fucking tremendous. It put over the story of Gargano refusing to quit. He's ever since PWG days, that's always been his MO, and you gotta love Gargano. He's freaking great.
Getting a live action chicken wing come into your
Chris,
vision.
The chicken wing doing a run in. Oh Lord!
If you guys would like to see the video that we're recording of this, it will be available in the Wrestling Square Circle Facebook group. I will rip it and also get it up on the YouTube channel.
look at
also, you got to see this picture I just took of Chris enjoying his chicken wing.
Look at that dunkage.
He looked orgasmic as he enjoyed it. He didn't even realize he was
Look at that
being photographed.
dunkage right there.
Oh Lord! But yeah, Walter and Pete was just what I wanted. That was the perfect match for those 2 guys.
Yes, Walter and Pete Dunne. That was my favorite match of the evening. Walter was just killing Pete Dunne, and I was expecting, man. Those chops kind of sounded off. The one thing I did notice about the Walter and Dunne match, I felt like the crowd didn't exactly know all of Walter's spots. Like, they knew of Walter and kind of his reputation. They knew to chant his name, but they weren't familiar with his signature moves besides a chop. They didn't really know what to expect. But I definitely think at the end of this match, more people will be paying attention to Walter and tuning into NXT UK every week to kind of see what's next for Walter. Any idea who you guys would like to see challenge Walter?
Oh man, I'm not familiar enough with NXT UK to have anyone in mind that I think would be good to challenge him. To be honest with you.
Yeah, but anything else on Walter?
Yeah, I think Walter just needs to just beat everybody from Dan Maloney to Ligero to Dave Mastiff to the Coffee Brothers to Pete Dunne again and Tyler Bate. Just whoop them all. Like what's fucking with Walter right now in the UK?
Yo, for me, it's like, I mean, I don't even know what's going on with Ilya Dragunov, but like that from all of the
that's right.
stuff
Ilja.
I've
Forgot about
seen,
him.
Yeah,
and all
Ilja.
the WXW stuff I've seen, Ilya Dragunov and Walter is where it's at. Like for the bowler that we were at, right? Ilya has like an intensity, man, that's like just unmatched, and like it's perfect for Walter's like just non-stop chops, like big man grappling.
Ilya's one of those guys that he's working a gimmick that doesn't seem like it's a character. He just seems like he's a brutal guy that just wants to kick your fucking chest in.
Yeah, awesome. So that's mine. Ilya Dragunov and Walter. That's a dream match that needs to at least be seen by all those eyeballs that we now have on NXT UK compared to the amount of eyeballs that were on WXW. So the rest of the people need to see that shit, man. That's me.
And so Jeremy was talking about Gargano and Cole just a few seconds ago. James, the biggest Johnny Gargano fan I know, you literally grabbed me and were jumping up and down. You were so happy that Gargano won the NXT championship, man. Let's hear your thoughts on that match, man.
I thought that the first two falls were just kind of there, but I believe that the last fall was like one of the best things I've ever seen on WWE television. Okay, so for me, I have people that I all enjoy, and I respect a lot of the people. I respect a lot of the people that I think are good, right? So like the more talented people I respect or whatever else, but there's not people I really. There's not that many people I fully like feel like I just have. I feel like I have the classical wrestling wrestler connection to, as far as like I live and die with their matches and their booking and their roster positioning, whatever else. Johnny's one of the few, and this was a culmination of what, 15 months, 6 takeovers, and yeah, he finally did it, and it was awesome. And there are times like the near falls were at the end were just at a point to where like, I was recording the finish and thinking like, I'm going to capture this on my phone, and it got to the point where I see that the Undisputed Era started doing their cheating deal to get the crowd
bullshit
into them. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, that's done. That's classic. He's done. Textbook. He's finished. Finito. Unrecord and put my phone back in my pocket, fold my arms. I know it's an L. And kicks out. Crazy finishes. And then we get to the point where he slaps on the Gargano escape last time, and he taps out. And the crowd was electric. It was one of the, I think it was the loudest pop I've ever been in attendance for. It was a culmination of an incredible show, and I think honestly, I think it's the best takeover they've ever done, which means it's the best show that WWE's ever done.
Right.
But we'll figure it out later. I have to watch it on a TV copy, but like I enjoyed the match. Like the Walter match was incredible too.
Let's keep it a buck. It's the greatest performer in NXT history, getting his crowning achievement. So that is huge, no matter like which way whether he's going to the main roster soon, or he's gonna be that signature star for NXT that Triple H always talks about. That people don't have to go to the main roster. Like, so I don't know how long they can keep Johnny hot, but they need to ride the wave as much as they can. And like Walter, let him beat people because he's eaten plenty of losses along the way.
Now he's a Triple Crown champion, first NXT Triple Crown champion, has held all 3 NXT titles. So we talked about Walter and Pete Dunne. We talked about Cole and Gargano. I want to get Young Boy on here because I know one of his favorite matches of the night was Velveteen Dream versus Matt Riddle. Young Boy, man, why'd you love that match so much?
I think I am in the minority here, but to me, I do feel like that was the match of the night. And I know a lot of people don't agree with that. And every match is so great, so it's not like I would probably like fight somebody over it. But that match just seemed to capture the crowd in a way that like a lot of other matches didn't. Like it felt like it was one of the most sustained like crowd reactions, and it's because Velveteen Dream is so over. Like when they say Dream is over, that shit's real.
I think I underestimated it a little bit because he was
at worst the second most over person the entire night. I would say he was either him or Adam Cole.
Right. And, I underestimate how over Velveteen is. I've been following Matt Riddle for a long time. And, Riddle, he's a huge superstar. I was expecting it to be, 50-50 with the crowd response, but I feel like the crowd was more behind Velveteen Dream than they were Matt Riddle.
Yeah, the crowd was behind Dream. Riddle, even though he's a star, it's like, you put him up against, like, a star that over in that crowd on that night.
I think he played it perfect, though. Like, he came through and he wrestled in a more aggressive fashion, and I thought it was really his breakout moment as well. We were waiting for him and Ono to really hit that level. They didn't hit that level.
Right.
And it was a process where he was going through where he needed to educate the crowd to what he does. I think this is where he fully fucked and busted a nut. Like, I'm sorry, excuse the language and everything, but Riddle needed this performance as well, and I think he got it.
Yes, definitely, man. That was a great match. And the opening contest was with one of our favorite tag teams, Josh, the War Raiders, a.k.a. War Machine, taking on the team of Black O'Shea, Aleister Black. Aleister Black and Ricochet. What do you think about that one, man?
Yeah, that match was excellent as well. I mean, who would have known that, Tommy and Ricochet would just make such a killer tag team? Like, Yeah, that match really was phenomenal.
Yeah, you know, Aleister Black, he's an underrated tag team wrestler. He's been always great in tag team stuff. And him and Ricochet together, they blended so well together. And just the stuff that they were doing for War Machine, you know, you would think it'd be your traditional, like, big man, little man stuff. But, you know, you have guys like Hanson and Rowe out there doing dives and flips.
When they did Hanson and Ricochet, it was speed wrestler versus speed wrestler, the high flyers. It's hilarious.
You're right. Yeah, dude, that was great. Rich, what do you think about that tag match?
The tag match was, I don't think it was Undisputed Era Mustache Mountain or anything, but it was like right underneath that. And I think that, you know, it was sad. It was actually good to see Ricochet and Black get that final send-off, that farewell. Of course, Ricochet's crying because he has to go get booked on the main roster. And I felt for the guy in that moment of pain that he had. And but yeah, Hanson, athletic as fuck. He's a freak of nature. Rowe is right there with him, like, as far as the power. Just so innovative with their movesets. It was a really great way to open the show. TakeOver was unfuckwittable.
Yeah. Also,
point blank.
We also had the Fatal 4-Way Women's Championship match. Shayna Baszler defending against Bianca Belair, Kairi Sane, and Io Shirai. James, what do you think on this one, man?
So you were talking about the women's 4-way, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like in some way, in shape, or form, we got to figure out what we're going to do with Shayna. Like, are we going to have her stay? And if so, like, we got to stop with these, like, banana peel, I do nothing, or I'm not the reason why I win finishes. Like, she's too. They portrayed her over the year, her tenure there, to be so dominant, and then now she's like. She keeps, like, you know, she keeps lucking out as opposed to, you know, she's dominant. Like, pick a lane. Like, either elevate one of these women because she's banana peeling now, or let her just beat people. And I don't think anybody. It feels cheap. You know? It feels cheap. In NXT, where, like, you know, this is the best of the best, and finishes are more or less pure. Like, we have gotten to this span with her, where, like, her last 4 matches have all been cheap victories for her, and and they've shown that she's been dominant, and people buy her as dominant. So I don't see, and this doesn't help elevate anyone really yet. So I'm still confused as to what's going on here.
And I think the issue with Shayna still being a champ is she shouldn't be there anymore. Like, it's like she's clogging the pipeline. No disrespect to her as a wrestler or anything, but I think she is, like, without her, like, leaving and getting promoted, no one else can get started. So I disagree with the belt, with them keeping the title on her. I thought you could have maybe went to Io here and, you know, start letting these matches get super raw until we could chase down Bianca.
Yeah. You know, I thought Bianca Belair would have been, you know, a good one to go with for here. Jeremy wants to get on this.
Actually, since we were talking about TakeOver, I want to get your guys' opinion. It's a Twitter-related thing.
Yeah.
So Voice of Wrestling was covering this show, and they tweeted out Riddle and Black.
I saw that.
What is your guys' opinion on that Freudian slip? You guys won't even touch base on that? I thought it was pretty.
All right, so Voice of Wrestling sent out a tweet. They were like Riddle and Black, and obviously he was wrestling Velveteen Dream at the time. So I chalk it up to it's just Twitter, or, you know, it's autocorrect on your phone. You know, maybe he was thinking about Aleister Black. I don't know. Maybe they got confused. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
James?
Okay. Okay. As you all know, that I am not in the business of caping for white people when they slip into whatever they step into. Nor should I feel the way if I step into something involving offending perhaps the gay community or women, right? Like, you know, I don't need anybody to vouch for me. Like, if your heart's in the right place, like, own what you did and move on from there. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But, you know, if people feel that it's warranted of an apology, like, I'm sure that they'll you know, respond appropriately, or they won't, and then we'll handle it and we'll move on from there.
Yeah.
They quickly deleted it.
Well, at least they didn't leave it up.
Yeah.
But I guess the next show of the weekend.
Talk about so
Thanks for the breaking news, Jeremy.
so we were at the G1 Super Card of Honor at Madison Square Garden, right behind us. Ring of Honor and New Japan. Jeremy and Chris, were you guys at Madison Square Garden, or did you? Awesome. So all of us here at the table were at Madison Square Garden. It's a great feeling just being in that building. It's a historic building. So many great shows, so many great matches that have happened here in this building. And
when the show was going on, I was thinking about every great memory of Madison Square Garden I had. Like, I was like, wow, Kobe dropped 61 here. Like, like this is where Shawn Michaels jumped off the ladder. Like, different stuff like that. So,
yeah, great stuff. So, I guess we'll do a little round table on this one. What was everybody's favorite match from the Super Card? Well, young boys chewing. Let's start with Jeremy.
All right. First off, the experience at the Garden was amazing. I am lucky enough to have a professional relationship with ROH because I do T-shirt design for them. So they hooked me up with seats. I was sitting in like the friends and family section for ROH. So great seats. Other awesome wrestlers sitting around me. Mikey Whipwreck was sitting next to me. Jerry Lynn was right behind me. Irie from DDT was down there. And after Mayu's match, she came up there and sat down and watched the rest of the show.
Awesome.
So I got an opportunity to say, Mayu, amazing match. But my match of the show has to be Dragon Lee, Taji Ishimori, and what the fuck? Why can't I'm so stoned? Ben fucking Dito.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Some of the amazing spots. I really want to put over when Dragon Lee had his opponent in the Tree of Woe in the corner when they were hanging upside down. Normally people just hang there like an idiot and look so stupid.
Just sell like
a dumbass. Dragon Lee had his foot on the guy's hand so he couldn't even let go of the rope. That is brilliant psychology within lucha stuff. That's amazing. It was next level.
Lucha is like I love me some lucha. But
Love it.
there's a lot of stuff where it's like, all right, I'm just gonna wait for the dude to do his thing.
Yes.
That's what's up,
All right, I know this guy's gonna do a double spot. He's gonna hang out there. He's gonna be hanging on the ropes till the guy does a moonsault onto him. Okay, I get it. But this is one of the times where like, well, this guy can't let go of the rope. There's no way.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys?
That's
honestly.
That's your match
So
of the
yeah, man,
night.
dude, I love that match. You know, I'm a big fan. We saw Bandito kind of break out last year during the WrestleCon Super Show. He was in there with
huge year from PWG to ROH. This guy is just fucking killing it.
Yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, that match was so great, and I'm hoping that we see Bandito in Best of the Super Juniors. It's coming up here. I'm sure we'll see that.
That's a good call.
We cannot not mention that ridiculous double back flipping.
Oh yes,
all the way
by Bandito.
slam.
Oh my
Fuck
God,
me.
hell yeah, man.
That's like some
I was
next level shit.
Everyone in the crowd was like, "Oh no, stand up!" Because something either bad or something beautiful is about to happen.
Right. Either a great spot's gonna happen or the last bump's about to happen.
Yeah.
The other gnarly bump of the evening, I think you probably all agree, is the double power bomb to the fucking floor on the outside over the top rope. PCO hitting the ground, then getting up, no selling, and then instantly falling back down. I love that moment. It was beautiful.
Most personal friend of grown men worship.
Yes, good old PCO. How you doing, Carl?
We love you. So happy for
Yeah,
that
man,
dude.
PCO's a G.
I was telling Jeremy, I was telling friend of the show, Ben, it's such a great story from PCO, from last year's WrestleMania weekend, right? Last year, we were there for that spring break match, Walter versus PCO. That revitalized his career, man. Like, that was it. That was the starting point.
Yeah, we got him on Grown Man shortly after that. And he was like,
If you haven't listened to it, go back in the archive.
and yeah. He said his ultimate goal wasn't necessarily making it to WWE, he just wants to keep the progression. And all. Think about it, from the spring break to Madison Square Garden in a year, the scope of that is insane.
Right?
And the man is 51 years old. That's actually, technically, he told me the other day, since Destro revived him, he's only 35 permanently. I'll sell that. That's him.
Young boy, what do you think about that fatal four-way tag match?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're the only young boy here.
I can't. It's hard to hear in here. So yeah, absolutely. The Fatal 4-Way was really, really, really good. The stuff that PCO was doing was just freaking insane. I thought that having all the different teams together ended up actually making it a better match because it was chaotic. Everybody was all over the place. Like it was awesome.
Yeah. And so after that tag match, we had a interruption of the show by one Enzo Amore
Oh my God.
and Big Cass.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about this, guys?
I think Ring of Honor is a promotion in crisis. I think they are they're reaching for anything that's just going to get them in the news cycle. And there's no better way to do that than bringing Enzo and Cass in because they kind of create controversy. I knew it was a work immediately. They were out there in their gimmick shirts. They were shooting it to avoid it being on the thing, and that was the work of it. And I pretty much said it to you guys immediately, and that kind of came out to be what the story was. I don't really know what they can offer from a wrestling standpoint because this is a promotion built on great wrestling. Enzo is a good talker despite being a noted asshole and, a disruptive kind of presence in the locker room. But I'm not trying to watch no Enzo and Cass matches.
Yeah, neither am I. Jeremy, what do you think about Enzo and Cass showing up at the Garden?
Oh my God, the
Hilarious.
Dude. I don't know if a lot of people who listen to your guys' show know how. I'll say it. I'm going to put myself over. I'm pretty prolific on Twitter. It's kind of stupid, but it's fun. So I tweeted out that. Yes, James Vanderbeek on Twitter. So silly. People actually asked for my picture this weekend, you guys. It was ridiculous.
Dude, it's crazy. We had a lot of people walking up to us saying, hey, you're Jeremy from Keeping Strong. You're a young boy from Keeping Strong. You're Rich from One Nation Radio. Like,
what a trip, dude, huh?
Dude, it's really weird.
Yeah, I'm like just as big a mark as this guy who's next to me taking a picture. So, but anyway, so I tweeted out when the guy jumped Brett during the Hall of Fame. I go, I heard something popped off over at the Hall of Fame. What did Enzo do now? Literally 30 minutes later, in the MSG, Enzo is jumping the fucking rail. It was like Beetlejuice. If I fucking tweet about this guy, he fucking shows up at the venue I'm at.
And thanks to the amazing subway system of New York City, you can definitely get from Brooklyn to Manhattan.
Let's assume that was both him. No, the other one. But yeah, so I have mixed emotions about this. I can see why a purist of ROH or New Japan would hate this bullshit, but I love wrestling, professional wrestling, which involves ridiculous bullshit just to draw some fucking money, which means there might be some heat off Enzo and Big Cass coming to ROH. Those are the fucking sports entertainer guys. We could see the Briscoe brothers beat the shit out of them. How fun would that be, you guys?
Yeah,
Briscoe.
That's what I want. I mean, to me, the Briscoes beating the shit out of Enzo and Cass, like people
That's
want
money.
that.
You could do a loop off of that.
Young boy, what do you think about that?
There was a time before everything that's happened with Enzo and Cass came about where they were one of the most popular, one of the most over acts in all of wrestling. I think in a way it's kind of, I'm not a fan of Enzo and Cass. I never have been, but at the same time, to see these guys kind of go to the lows and maybe have a chance at redemption, I mean, that's kind of a cool story, So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm going to mark over this, storyline or whatever, and I don't know if it's going to end up benefiting Ring of Honor, but at least they're trying something.
Yeah. So let's go to.
Let me get on this.
Yeah.
So we have Enzo and Cass at Ring of Honor.
Boy.
Sinclair's out here. They're out here clout chasing. Absolutely. I don't know, man. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. All I know is this is definitely not Bryan Danielson's Ring of Honor. This is not Nigel McKinney's Ring of Honor. This is not Christopher Daniels' Ring of Honor.
Samoa Joe.
This ain't Samoa Joe.
Tyler Black.
AJ Styles' Ring of Honor. You can keep going. This ain't Jonathan Gressman's Ring of Honor. This ain't Jay People's Ring of Honor.
I just want to know now that Enzo's here, is Enzo going to get in the Best of Super Juniors now? Are we going to see that?
No. No.
Look, I think that if he is in the Best Super Juniors, I think there might be a reason to not watch it now. No, there might be a reason to not watch it now. Before I had no excuse because it's some of the best wrestling in the world.
Yeah.
Now it's oh yeah, Enzo's on there. I ain't watching that.
Imagine Enzo Amore doing that whole entrance in Corkin Hall and everybody staring at him like, who is this alien?
I will say this for everybody that hated Enzo's cruiserweight run and cruiserweight title reign, wouldn't that be like the biggest like I don't even know like coincidence or like happenstance that he winds up in New Japan in the Best of Super Juniors, maybe holding the junior title? Oh my God, bro! People would lose their freaking minds, dude.
Yeah,
that'd be awful.
And that's the difference between the rest of the world and WWE is that if they do like if something is a terrible idea, they won't do it. As opposed to WWE is like, think of the heat we'll get.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I think even Gato has that restraint.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the top matches at the end of the evening. We had Zack Sabre Jr. defending the Rev Pro British Heavyweight Championship against the Ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Young boy, what do you think about Sabre and Ace?
I think it delivered. I think it could have used a little bit more time, but obviously, with them having strict time constraints, we didn't get. It wasn't like. I mean, how long did that match go? Like 12 minutes?
Around that time, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought it was really good. Obviously, Tanahashi was over like Rover. Like, man, people freaking lost their minds when Yeah, it was awesome. And I thought that it was one of the better Zack matches of the weekend. In fact, that might have been the best Zack match I did see this weekend, possibly. What was better?
My favorite Zack match was definitely the Rev Pro tag.
Yeah.
I think that had some emotion to it. It had some like my one point on the MSG one was that was the point where I think people were maybe getting a little bit tired, which was unfortunate.
It was a New Japan match. They worked it nice and slow. A lot of transitions as far as who was in control all the time. So yeah, but Rev Pro, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, great stuff. But when you got a card that long, right, you got to pace it. You got to pace that shit. And I didn't have any complaints about it, but it was a moment where I was a little bit, dipping down, I guess. Whereas that Rev Pro show, that was the highlight of the show. Easily.
Yeah. One thing with that, which is great that you bring that up, because it was almost like we were at Cork and Hall watching like a Road to show as the precursor to this match on the big show.
Cool. That was cool. I love those Road to shows.
And the other thing with it that was really cool is just all weekend I was seeing dream matches, but there's no stakes behind it. There's no actual heat behind it.
Right.
And then when we got to that Rev Pro show, that was the first match of the weekend where I was like, okay, there's stakes on the line. There's real heat here. This has, I don't know. It's going to matter later on what happens in this match, as opposed to Bandito and Will Ospreay is really great, but it happens and then it doesn't matter who wins, doesn't matter who loses. It's a display. But that Rev Pro tag team match was this matters. It's a big deal.
And how over was Suzuki?
Dude,
oh my God.
Suzuki was amazing, taking out the referee as always. But the relationship between Zack and Suzuki is one of the things I've just enjoyed the progression of. It went from a guy who, they were essentially just paired together, and now you could clearly see the mutual respect that Minoru has for Zack, and that's something. He doesn't hand it out lightly,
Yeah, But
also, I want to do a live reaction from you guys.
Yeah.
Looks like the Major Brothers just won the tag team titles from the Revival.
They did.
What do you guys think about this? This was a
Heads for life.
Shut up. Personally, I don't like a title match just at WrestleMania that springs from a challenge. I like a build. Opinions?
Yeah, I would have preferred for there to be some kind of build or story told to make this make sense instead of just all of a sudden on Twitter. Oh, yeah, as soon as I saw that match happening,
first time in WWE. I'm not even going to say that full name over the airwaves here, but for me, them winning just means the Revival can do right, pretty much treat it like Bret Hart in 1997. They might as well just walk to the top of the ramp and go AEW. Yes. So Revival seems like they're on the way out. Hopefully they don't get breaking up.
Hopefully in a similar fashion that Brenda Hitman was able to hawk that loogie directly into Vince's face. Maybe they didn't get screwed for the title, but just a thought.
I know it's New York. And they're going for the cheap pop, but Fuck.
They're in New Jersey.
Same, yeah. Woo, woo, woo.
You know it. So let's get back to the super card. We had the IWGP Intercontinental Championship on the line with the Golden Star Kota Ibushi against Tatsuya Naito. Young boy, what did you think about this one, man?
Yeah, so this was a dream come true. This was the match I was most anticipating and most excited for. And to see these guys go out there and literally kill themselves and do, bro, it topped like their entire series so far, in my opinion. I thought it was the match of the weekend for me personally. And I was blown away. Like, and it was an honor to be able to be there in Madison Square Garden watching Naito and Ibushi. I guess the thing I'm wondering is what the Naito fans, how they're going to react to this.
Yeah, I'm expecting the LIJ fans to have a meltdown right now and just burn Twitter to the ground. Just having no confidence in what Gedo has planned for Naito. But all Naito fans, they want him to hold the IWGP Championship, but in order for him to do that, he's got to drop one. He got to drop the IC belt. So
give him all the belts. Strap this man up.
So I feel like this is going to be the progression that Naito needs to get him into, as the number one contender for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Rich, what do you think about Ibushi Naito?
Ibushi and Naito was exactly what I was anticipating. I would probably go like 4.75. I'm too much of a coward to give it 5, but they did a lot of head drops. Ibushi, this kind of completes. When I first started watching New Japan Pro Wrestling, it was Wrestle Kingdom 9. The first match was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kota Ibushi. He lost for the IC title, and he finally got the fucking belt after all this time. I was so happy for that guy.
James, your thoughts on Ibushi Naito?
Yeah, it's a great match, and they both tried to kill each other, and luckily both of them survived, and they didn't try to kill each other too many times. They only decided to drop each other on their heads a few times as opposed to, a million times. So, great match. I'm pretty sure they could go out there and do something and do a better match, but, let's just keep it as that, and let's keep these guys alive, and hopefully we get more great matches out of them in the future.
Quick question for you guys.
Yeah.
Bushi doing the Hurricane Rana off the apron to the floor, maybe spot of the weekend contender?
Yes, definitely, dude.
Yeah.
What?
Spot
of the weekend.
Ooh, I would say, okay, so
Up there.
When you get PCO double power bomb over the top rope to the floor with nothing to catch him, I think that's the spot of the year. But
Same show though, so that's good.
Yeah. It's a great show.
Ibushi and Naito, man, those guys just killed each other. I loved Ibushi kind of calling back to Shinsuke Nakamura, one of his heroes. His whole mission was to bring the IC belt back to prestige that guys like Nakamura and Tanahashi have done, and so just him channeling in his inner Nakamura and hitting that Bomaye knee. Then eventually the golden the Kamigoye, I got Kenny on the mind, the Kamigoye, and winning the IC championship. And
I mean, it's such a big deal because for a lot of U.S. fans, New Japan came to prominence off the back of that Wrestle Kingdom 9 IC title match with Ibushi and Nakamura, and since that time, he's challenged for it several other times, most notably the match with Tanahashi, and he's never been able to lock up that white belt. So to see him come to America several years later, pay homage to those guys, and then finally overcome and be like a major champion in New Japan, it's pretty compelling. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Now let's talk about the main event, guys, for the IWGP Championship.
What do you guys think of the new title?
I think it's very
so
pretty.
Beautiful. It's
Looks
big
nice.
and gorgeous, and it's a title worth holding.
Yes, that's how I want all title belts to look. Big, shiny, lots of gems and diamonds and jewels on it. Yeah.
Yeah, the new title, it's pretty much the same model though, right? It looks the same.
Pretty much the same, just a little, I think
It's a little bit bigger, but
Yeah.
it is beautiful. And I'm not even a belt geek, and I love it. It looks awesome.
so
man.
what'd you guys think about the match?
Jay White lost. Jay White lost. God almighty, Jay White lost. And I'm happy. The IWGP title, I think, has been saved. Western morale has gone through the roof. and we can send Jay White back to the 8-man tags. So, because who's going to Okada forever?
Strong feelings. I guess you guys don't care for Jay White, I take it.
Actually, so they're more on the not caring for Jay White bandwagon. Me, Josh, and I, we've been kind of pushing Jay White for a while.
Yeah.
I think he's a great wrestler.
Is it an undeserved thing where he's like maybe getting the push a little too strong just to replace Kenny Omega? Is that how you guys feel?
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, I wouldn't have booked him as IWGP champion, but I do think he's done his best in that position. He's had good to great matches, since this kind of heel turn and push. The Ospreay match, you can look back to the Juice Robinson match. He's been putting in great performances.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of Jay White. I've touted him since he showed up in ROH, and clearly it was something here. The guy was young and already was pretty damn good. I was shocked when they put the title on. Honestly, shocked. It seemed like rushed. It seemed like knee-jerk reaction. Maybe they just didn't want to go with Okada or Tanahashi again, but I guess it was a good natural progression to what we had tonight. You know what I mean? It was like a great feel-good moment for the end of this show.
Oh, yeah. James, do you want to jump on this?
Yeah, so my thoughts on Jay White, for example, is that he's very good, but I don't know if he's at that level of, or he's at the level of the top guys in New Japan, and, I kind of see it as a height of professional wrestling. So I was skeptical, but after the Ibushi match and this match, I'm starting to become more of a believer, and I'm less skeptical. And that was the thing for me, is like I never wrote him off. I just thought that maybe this is a little bit too much too soon. I think it's overblown about his age, but about him being only 26. I know a bunch of guys that are incredible that are not that are younger than that, like Tyler Bate or Momo Watanabe or whatever else. But I think it's the right step for him. I wasn't exactly. I'm a big Okada fan, as you guys know, but I wasn't exactly the crazy one about him getting the title back this soon. And that was about until I went to that, and when I went into this building over right there, and this crowd was living and dying with Okada in a way that I rarely seen as a person that parachutes in for these big New Japan matches, because it was a point in time where, whoever he was up against in these pay-per-view matches, the crowd was more towards the opponent taking the title, because they were kind of over the lengthy title run. So I was kind of concerned about him getting it back this quick, but for at least for this night, it worked out like gangbusters. The crowd was 100% behind him. He's probably the most over guy, one of the most over guys the entire weekend that I've seen. I mean, maybe Adam Cole, maybe Velveteen, maybe Johnny at the end of in the main event at the end. But it's definitely it was definitely those three. Oh, and also Liger when he came out. So Liger's the GOAT, and he's wrapping it up. So of course, I feel like this is in a weird way we finally got Okada as over as his rep is.
Yeah, I want to 100% agree with you that I was quite concerned that it was a bit too early for Okada to get it back, right? Because, I got to the point of, watching those Okada matches, and I said, one of the best wrestlers in the world, easily. But it's I am not looking forward to these matches anymore, dog. It's I don't know. It's I'm not sure about this. And then it's I'm thinking at least a year and a half until they go back to him, right? At least that long. You need a break. You need to make a new star, like Jay White, right? So I was really thinking Jay White really needs to retain here. This is his moment. This is his moment to main event Madison Square Garden show and retain that title over Okada. That's going to put him in that top mix in that Kenny Omega spot that I think he is deserving of. And then it's he's just going to go up and up and up from there. Instead, it's Okada taking that belt back. I don't know. To me, it's is it going backwards? It's I don't know where they're going to go from here. And I think, why did they even put the belt on Jay if they're going to take it off him in his first defense? What's up with that?
Yeah, so I think, Josh and I have been talking about this on Keeping It Strong Style. There's a lot of champions that they get their first title win, and then they eventually drop it without no successful defenses. I think what they were trying to do was just establish Jay White as a main event guy, as a top heavyweight. This guy is good enough to win the IWGP Championship. So in the future, when he's facing guys like Naito and Tanahashi and Okada and all these guys, it's okay, it's believable that he's beating these guys because he was a former IWGP heavyweight champion. and I think it's going to lead to him having a great G1 climax this year. But as far as like direction, like I'm not 100% sure where they're going to go, because I mean Okada has already faced a lot of the top guys as champion defending it. So we were talking about this last night. I don't know who's next for Okada to defend against.
The only thing I will say about White losing the title is, all right, there, and I told Josh this last night. There's an old story about Jim Morrison and the Doors with the Ed Sullivan show, and they were like, you can't go on there and say, light my fire, right? Or else you get much higher. You can't say get much higher, right? So he goes out there, and he fucking does it anyway, right? And then he was like, you'll never play the Ed Sullivan show again. And he's like, motherfucker, we already did do the Ed Sullivan show. So, like, with Jay White now, you can't ever he held the belt. You can't take it away from him. He has the pedigree forever now.
I'm going to ask you this. Did they cut his balls off?
No. He's beat every guy in the promotion except Naito and Ibushi. So...
I just think people were starting to believe in him, and there was still a lot of chatter about Jay not being, right for this spot main eventing Mania. main eventing Madison Square Garden, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So there was still a lot of people thinking Jay isn't ready, and it was like this was the chance to prove Jay is ready, and then he loses it. To me, it's like, I don't know. Like, that's where I asked the question,
Well, I don't think it was a wins or losses thing with him, because they gave him all the wins that he needs already. He's beat Tanahashi. He's beat Omega. He's beat Okada twice. And if we weren't going to believe in the winning like that, it needed to be the performance. And I think he got the performance that he needed, because I think that's the best match I've ever seen of him.
Great match.
Yeah, that was an excellent main event.
Jay White's ass from like Wrestle Kingdom last year. Yo, I don't see it. This is bullshit. Like, don't put this man on top, like, right now.
Yeah.
But the last, I want to say 3 or 4 matches, I understand what he is now, and now I think that he has that I'm a former champion on him is going to give him a lot more clout in Japan and also in America.
I think the future is bright for Jay White. I think he's just gonna go up from here. I think he's gonna have a great G1 climax, and I think he's gonna have a really big match come Wrestle Kingdom. I'm not sure who it'll be against, but I think the future's still bright for Jay.
Yeah. That makes me feel good that you guys saw it that way, and it's like I hope that a lot of other people out there saw it that same way, because I was the same way, It's like you get to that top level of the match, you get to that finishing sequence, and when you actually get lost in it, when you actually get like, all right, I really want my guy to win, and like that's the part where you lose yourself in wrestling, and it's like that's that like great match level.
Yeah.
And
But
I was
dude,
there for that.
Yes, the end of that match, I was up on my feet. I was gripping to every single move, every near fall. I was into it so much, man. I was like, and then when Okada's hitting those rainmakers, I was just like, yes.
This is why I watch professional wrestling. This is why we fly to New York to come check this shit out. These guys come from Australia. We come from Florida. Like Seattle.
Yeah.
Like this is like the best of the best of the best, sir, with honors.
Yes.
Yeah, I really wanted to put over Naito and Ibushi. Like, that was my match of the night.
Yes.
I thought that was incredible. Got to some intense levels, and I knew it would be, but, so good, so good. That night was just special.
Yeah, dude, it's a great night. So, guys, if you've been trying to watch us on the video, we've been having some problem with the feed, but, we'll have the audio out here on our Social Suplex Podcast Network feed that you'll be listening to this on. So we're kind of wrapping up here. We got about 15 minutes. What I want to do is I want to go around to everybody and get everybody's match of the weekend.
Ooh, that's a hot take, man.
Yeah,
that's hard. We've seen so much wrestling.
Yes, we've been here since Thursday. We've been watching wrestling the whole weekend. I got to know everybody's either the best match you've seen this weekend or your favorite match you've seen this weekend. So we'll start with you, Chris.
Yo, so this is tricky. It's tricky because you got so many different kind of matches. You got serious matches, you got funny matches, you got all sorts of matches. You got shoot style matches. Who knows what's up? It's hard to go past Hideki Suzuki and Timothy Thatcher. It's hard to go past Minoru Suzuki, Josh Barnett. It's hard to go past Naito and Ibushi. But dude. All right. I'm officially going to give it to Minoru Suzuki and Josh Barnett.
Nice.
Right? Like that it was a different level thing for me. Obviously, I'm a little bit partial in that shoot style wrestling, so that's a little bit of a special thing. You know, seeing Josh Barnett wrestle in person, and obviously Minoru Suzuki, the king of pancrase.
Yes, Kaze Ninare.
That got it for me. That got it for me.
Awesome. All right, young boy. Pass the mic over to young boy. All right, young boy. Best match that you saw this weekend?
It was Naito and Ibushi. Absolutely. I mean, it blew me away. I'm like 4 3/4 on it. And yeah, just excellent.
Nice. Jeremy, best match you've seen this weekend?
Oh, man. I think I've already said the three-way from MSG was the best, the funnest. And a lot of people have mixed feeling about it, but the clusterfuck, I loved it.
Who won the clusterfuck this year?
No one. The way it ended was amazing. So there'd been kind of a bit of an angle going on that Joey Ryan was a sexist because he didn't book any female on the last 2 clusterfucks.
Right.
This time, at the end of the show, women slowly came out. There's about 8 women in total. Shazzy McKenzie, I think Harlan O'Hara, Alley Cat, a bunch of people were in there. And they started beating the shit out of all the guys. And then they went backstage and they came out with light tubes and started beating the shit out of all the guys with light tubes. Then they paraded Joey Ryan out wearing no clothes. He's just wearing his boxers and started beating the shit out of him. And he had Joey Ryan as the sexist in lipsticks painted on his chest. They beat the shit out of everyone. They started peeling the mat away before all this ended. Like, so there's glass and blood and light tubes and chicks everywhere. And they're just standing there tall. All the referees, all the wrestlers are dead in the ring. Female referee Aubrey Edwards was out there. They saved her life. Girl Hebner. They saved 3-2 battle, baby. They send her away. They saved her life. And they stood there tall. And then at the end of the show, they go, all right, everybody. That's it. And most wrestling shows end with a feel-good moment.
Yes.
Or a moment where you're like, I'm pissed off. This was like indifference. What the fuck happened? Uncomfortability.
Yo,
it just was amazing.
I thought it was weird, and we discussed.
You had your turn.
We discussed that differentiating.
Differentiating opinions.
Differentiating opinions.
English
Thank you,
language.
sir.
We got it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm a little bit drunk. So we discussed about how I thought that was a flat finish, and I thought that was the worst clusterfuck they've done, and it hurts me to say that because I love Joey. I love Joey hard, and I thought it was just flat. That's just me. But I lost my shit for Nick Gage and Necro Butcher, man.
All right, James. Best match you saw this weekend?
Yikes. Can I give multiple answers?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So the best match that didn't go for length, I would say, would be the light heavyweight match for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship between Bandito, Dragon Lee, and Ishimori. So I think that's the best match that went for like sub 12 minutes or whatever else. The best match from bell to bell, I think, that went for length, I would say would be Walter versus Dunn. I love the brutality. It was unlike anything else I saw this entire weekend. And I think it made a new star, and I think it paid proper respect to in proper due to the honestly, like, one of the best championship runs that WWE's ever had with Pete Dunne. So I would say that. Now, from an emotional standpoint, it's obviously, for me, it's the main event of TakeOver. It was one of the reasons why I came out here. So it's Gargano versus Cole, and especially that third fall, just incredible. He's just like Gargano. Like, it doesn't matter who he's wrestling with, because it's always in there with someone super talented. But you put him in a match with stakes, and I don't think there's anybody else in this country that produces and gets that kind of emotion out of people. So so for that emotional, it's me. So that's the best I can answer it. And I try to do my best to try to give you what my thoughts are. So that's it.
All right, Rich.
I'm stuck between a couple different ones. Walter and Pete Dunne would probably be the top one for me. Then you got J.Y. and Okada. I really liked it a lot. The whole garden was standing on their feet, living and dying with Okada. It was insane. But, yeah, I'm going to go with J.Y. and Okada.
Nice. All right, for me, the best match that I saw this weekend was Kota Ibushi versus Tetsuya Naito. I was really in love with their match from the New Japan Cup this year, and I thought this one topped it. Those guys were literally just out there killing each other. I mean, like we mentioned, we saw so many matches, so many shows, but that is the one match that really, really kind of stood out for me. All right, guys, so we did it, man. SUPLEXMANIA.
We fucking did it.
Can I make one last comment?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my third year going to WrestleMania week for all the stuff around it, and this week is by far and away the most quality matches I've ever seen in one trip. The most like matches that are above the 4 stars, a 4.5 star caliber. The more quality matches where like there were no duds on there or things you just snooze through. I don't know if that's in people. There's a lot of talk about the talent race, the arms race for talent, for everything else is stockpiling, and obviously things might change next year, but with the specter of New York and all the shows, all the promoters, and the money that was available for all these people to do stuff, like I believe that this might be the pinnacle. Who knows? Maybe there's something beyond this, but this was a great week for wrestling fans of any promotion around the world, or anybody looking for something new. So I just wanted to say that like everybody check out what stuff you missed or whatever else, because I'm sure you're going to be satisfied with it.
What are we putting over? What are we putting over that people may have missed? What are the go-tos?
Oh, well, I don't... To be honest, my thought that I was going to say is that as great as this weekend was and as much good wrestling that I saw, to me what stands out really isn't necessarily the wrestling and isn't necessarily any of the matches, but just the experience of being at WrestleMania, just the experience of being with my friends,
Yes.
seeing people that are from all over the world. If you came out and you're here for the party, because there's a ton of people actually out here that are here for the party, thank you. If you are a listener of our show or this network, the fact that there's been so many people that you've come up to us and you've expressed gratitude for what we do, and it's weird.
It's blown away.
We forget that people listen to this and care about what we do, and then to put names and faces. It really means a lot. So it's just been awesome to interact with anybody that's involved with this, or even just the wrestling business in general. This wacky, weird crap that we all follow and this dorky fake fighting. It's awesome and incredible. And I'm just thankful for WrestleMania weekend and being able to see you guys. Tom, who couldn't be here.
Big Tom G.
Floyd, he's at WrestleMania right now, and all the guys from Social Suplex. So
yeah, man, this has been a great trip. This has been amazing, and it's an awesome experience. And I'm so happy to finally meet Jeremy. I've met you already. It's just great to see you again. It's been so long. Great to see you again.
I just wanted to say one last thing, kind of in a way to maybe almost explain the name of our show. Me and Chris, we call it Grown Men Watch This Shit because it was some UFC guy who actually mentioned that in a disparaging way. He said, grown men actually watch this shit? And yeah, we fucking do. This shit is the best. It's the most entertaining thing in the world. We are fucking grown men and women who travel from states, from other countries to come and mark out with fellow like-minded insane people, enjoy the dumbness, and just get into wrestling because it's the best thing ever. It's wrestling. It's comic books, it's action, it's drama, it's all of it rolled into one. Professional wrestling is the best thing in the world, and I can't say enough about it.
Yeah,
that dumbness, man, I wanted to make sure I especially put over, because last year I met y'all. I met y'all for the first time at the WWN Super Show, right? So we had Bloodsport, then we had the Super Show, and then we had Spring Break. I was sleeping outside between shows, and I met Josh, I met y'all, and we had a great little chat,
Yes,
and we enjoyed, we bonded over this special vibe that is Mania weekend, right?
Yes.
And then from there, now we're doing this podcast and shit, we're part of this special family, and I want to say thank you to all of y'all. I appreciate that so much.
Well, we have to give a big thank you to this man right here, Chris Owen.
You're
welcome, guys. You're welcome.
Dude, this guy invited us in to have this watch party here at Hooters, man, and just appreciate the opportunity. We're just guys who love wrestling, and we're passionate about this, and we're just grinding out here trying to make a name for ourselves, and just appreciate the opportunity you gave us to come out here, man.
Yeah, I mean, I love wrestling myself, so when I knew it was coming to town, I reached out, and we needed. I just wanted people in. Like, it brings business, it brings people together, like you were saying, like a bunch of like-minded people who just like the same shit. And that's what this is. Like, I went to spring break last night as well. Some of the craziest things that I've seen. I didn't go to any of the big-time promotions, but I went to that, and it was great. Like, I loved it.
Yeah, so guys, if you're ever in the New York area, you need to come hit up the original Hooters right across the street from Madison Square Garden. See our boy Chris and just enjoy the great experience at Hooters, the great service they give you. So Chris, thank you again for having us here, man.
Good beer and good wings.
Yes, so we're going to close this up now with some closing plugs. Chris, you have the mic. Go ahead and plug your show.
Yo, grown men, watch this shit. James Vanderbeek, Chris Things. We love this shit. I think we've got that point across so far, right? I also want to make sure I acknowledge the special guests that have come along. Our special guests of Grown Men Watch This Shit. I want to give props to John Kraft, roving Mexican reporter. He's in this house right now. I also want to give props to Courtney, who I mention every single show. Every single show. She here right now. Come on.
Courtney,
Quick. We're closing this down. Say what's up. This is really awkward. But what are you going to say? Say hi.
Hello.
I was thanking you for being mentioned every single episode of Grown Men Watch This Shit.
And the Easter egg nest egg bullshit. Like, sometimes I listen, I'm like, where the fuck is my mention, bitches? And then it comes eventually, usually in the last fucking 30 seconds, when then you talk for another 3 minutes, so.
We occasionally ramble. We do. Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And thank you for all of y'all.
I just want to say that I'm a big fan of the new bit you guys are doing. Old news.
Yeah,
man.
For multiple reasons, either A, I'm super busy, or emotional shit going on. We may not record as consistently as people would expect, but if that happens, we're going to cover the shit that we haven't talked about in old news. And follow me at James Vanderbeek, Jaims Vanderbeek.
Well, and my name is Rich Latta, at Rich Latta 32, at One Nation Radio. You can find us on Twitter. As Josh said, thank you guys for all your support. It's really humbling to meet you guys and really just vibe with you guys over the experience of professional wrestling.
And guys, you can follow me at Jeremy L. Donovan. Every Tuesday, Young Boy and I, we host Keeping It Strong Style right here on the network, covering New Japan. You can follow the show at KI Strong Style, and also make sure you follow the whole thing, man, at Social Suplex. Also Facebook.com/Social Suplex.
James, you want to wrap this shit up?
Oh, yeah. You can follow me on Twitter at JamesBoyd87. Also check the podcast network, Social Suplex Podcast Network, to check out, like Rich said, One Nation Radio with me and him on the show, and also me and a guest host on Thursdays for NXT Then Now Forever, where we review NXTs from that week 5 years ago and also that week's current episode. So check it out.
SUPLEXMANIA, we did it.
We did it.
Hell yeah.
Counting on these wings.